Have you ever been triple dog dared to do something really stupid and then decided, what the heck?
Have you ever requested a weapon for Christmas, only to be told that you'll shoot your eye out by the adults in your life?
If you've ever looked at a fishnet-clad leg and thought, hey, that reminds me of Christmas, you might be a Xennial, a Christmas story fan. And we are too. Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi, and I'm Danny. Shouldn't that have been, you might be a Xennial and you might be a Christmas story fan?
Yeah, I was reading again. Hello, if it's your first episode, I just read what's there. Which, by the way, I wrote. And
she wrote it.
Might be a Xennial, a Christmas story.
I was like, that's odd.
Weird.
She's also a professional writer. So.
I am.
Anyway, we're tired. Hello again. I am Danny. That's Katie.
Hello.
And welcome to Generation in Between. We are a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, and sometimes we relearn all kinds of things from our 80s childhoods and our 90s teen and young adulthoods. And hey, whether you're a fan of leg lamps, triple dog dares, or just looking for some holiday cheer, today's episode is for you, and we are themed out.
We are. Maybe we should talk about that for a second.
I just looked at the YouTube.
We're like, wait, what are we wearing? Since we're on Zoom, we can see ourselves.
I know.
Not Zoom. It's a different platform.
Correct. Carlos, don't come for us. He asked me yesterday, hey, did y'all use my camera yet? And I was like, no, we haven't figured it out. And he's like, do you need me to come set it up for you guys? I was like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But we do like this platform we've been using. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, but a camera could be good too.
Yeah, but anyway, listeners, if you're just listening to us, I have on a sequin Santa hat that is very long. It looks like a sleeping cat.
It does.
I love it.
It's like, it's reminding me of like Scrooge in his bed cap, but
and
also
bed cap, and nightcap.
Sequin Santa. I love it.
It's very fun. I also have on one of many Christmas story shirts that I have, which we'll get into later. Why I don't have my other ones available at the moment, because it's funny, but we'll talk about later. And Katie has on some antlers.
Your face though, just now when you looked at my antlers.
I haven't properly looked. They're really cute. They're brown sequins. And she has on a really funny shirt that, what does it say? It says most likely to start a podcast with Santa, which is hilarious.
Yes, most likely. I did the trend where like you buy a shirt for everyone in your family. That's a most likely. So technically this is my husband's, which my husband and Santa on a podcast, I would listen to that.
Oh, damn. Me too.
That would be amazing.
Also, Santa, you want to come on this podcast? Let's
also,
go.
Santa, any podcast you're on, I'll listen to. Also, I'll interview you, and I will not just read the script. I will make sure all the words are in sequence when I talk to you. Or I'll be in sequence.
Oh.
But I'll be in sequence. Don't get me wrong. And so will Danny with her little hat over there.
I know.
So we are Christmased out. And on this episode, we're going to talk about A Christmas Story, the movie.
Yes.
But we are also going to talk about the musical. So that is a separate episode. So if that's the one you're looking for, that's okay. Stay for this one and then hop on that one. We're going to talk about that separately because Danny and I just finished performing in that musical here locally at the Henniger Center in Melbourne, Florida. And so when we get to that part, we're going to talk a little more about our own experiences. Does that sound good to you, Danny?
Yeah, so that means Danny, shut up and don't say anything about it until we get to part 2.
I mean, it'll be hard not to be like, oh yeah.
No, we need to save it. I'm going to hold it.
Okay.
I have plenty to say about the movie because it was like a touchstone in my Christmas life.
Perfect. So this is non-performer version.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, so Danny, for those who may not know, including some of our younger listeners, can you give us the official summary of A Christmas Story?
Ooh, where'd you get the official summary from?
Where did I get this from? I think I got it from IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah, IMDb.
I love theirs. They're fun sometimes. Okay, Let's see what it says. Here we go, everybody. Set in the 1940s in Holman, Indiana, adjacent to Lake Michigan, A Christmas Story follows the nostalgic and humorous adventures of 9-year-old Ralphie Parker as he dreams of receiving a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. Narrated by an adult Ralphie, the film chronicles his childhood experiences leading up to Christmas Day. Ralphie's quest to convince his parents, teacher, and even Santa Claus that the BB gun is the perfect gift is met with the repeated warning, you'll shoot your eye out. I had to do it. Sorry.
You had to.
Along the way, the film showcases a series of memorable moments, including a triple dog dare that leaves a friend's tongue stuck to a frozen flagpole, the arrival of a garish leg lamp, and a chaotic Christmas dinner. Through a blend of humor, family dynamics, and relatable childhood moments, A Christmas Story captures the essence of holiday anticipation and nostalgia, making it a beloved holiday classic.
Yes. Awesome. And that was why I wanted you to read it for the You'll Shoot Your Eye Out line.
Yay! And I did it!
I was like, I'm going to give her like 17 other lines around it, but like, yes. Yeah, so that was awesome. Good.
We'll get there because I have to talk about that when we get there.
You understood the assignment.
I did.
So the first thing, I want us to both, like you said, you have a lot of childhood memories or just in general life memories around this film. Yeah. And we'll interweave that as we're talking today. But just like on a basic level, I've talked to you about this before, and I think we've said it on the show, that where I grew up, Michigan City, Indiana, is right near where the author, Gene Shepherd, grew up also. So when they're talking about the cold Lake Michigan winters and all the snow they have to trudge through, and the blizzard at the beginning of December, like that's all very relatable. So I realized because I remember when I was revisiting this before auditions for the show and just kind of researching the show for my own knowledge, I was like, it's weird. When I was growing up, no one really made a big deal out of that.
Wait, isn't there the Christmas Story house?
It's in Ohio.
Oh, in Ohio. Okay, yeah, I thought it was in Indiana.
Actually in the town. We'll get to that. So it's set there, but like it was filmed not there.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of it. So it wasn't actually filmed
in
near
Indiana.
Me.
Okay.
But also it really didn't reach like the cult classic iconic status that it has today. It didn't start to get there till the late 90s.
I would say before that.
It was kind of popular for like VHS and stuff like that, but it wasn't played on TV until then.
Okay, because I was about to say, like, I mean, I remember me and all my friends watching it. Like, now, it was a flop at the box office, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Because I've seen interviews with Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, about that. And it came out in 1983, right? What you're going to say.
Yes.
So, I mean, we probably got the VHS tape a few years after. Like, because I mean, I grew up with, I remember growing up with the green, who is it that makes fun of me for saying VCR tape?
Sarah.
Okay, well, I just said VHS tape, Sarah.
Without an H. Just make sure we know which Sarah we're yelling at.
I know. But anyway.
So I'm not saying nobody watched it, but like.
But it wasn't on TBS 24 hours till the late 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think like it wasn't as big a deal as it is today until I was like basically out of high school. And then it was like, oh yeah, and again, I don't think that's right. My family did not watch this movie. So that was part of it too. Like ever. I watched it on TBS on a marathon, I think, when I was like 20 for the first time.
What?
Which is weird because it's like set where I'm from.
Well, how surprised. I was so surprised. I mean, this is not about the musical, but I was surprised when we were doing the show, how many audience members, because we would go out and I'd ask them, are you a fan of the movie? And they'd be like, no, I've never seen it.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people that have never
seen it. And I'm like, what? Like, I just am floored about people. Like, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things like you don't know. Because you think, because you did it, it was just something everybody else did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it is kind of a strange story.
It's a little bit of a weird movie. And I think if you come in the middle of it too, which sometimes happens when it's on a TV marathon, you're kind of like, what is this?
What the hell?
Right. You kind of have to be like in the mood for it or have already seen it. So you know like what's happening. But cool. Okay. So let's get into the history of the film.
Let's go. I'm excited.
So this, as you mentioned, it's in 1983, and it's based on the semi-autobiographical stories of a humorist and radio host named Gene Shepherd.
Yes.
It was a 1966 book.
Right.
So it was a while. And the name of his book was In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash. And so he was a radio guy for about 4 decades, and he ended up at a pretty big radio station in New York City, WOR. And so
WOR is that Howard Stern? No,
that one's not his.
WNBC, that's what it was. Sorry,
that's what his is. I feel like WOR isn't enough letters.
I know. I feel like they need one more.
I don't know. That's weird. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, so his thing was kind of like telling humorous stories on the radio, and people would listen to his stories live. It's not like now where like you can listen to a podcast. You would have to listen to him when he was on the air, but he built up a pretty big following.
He had a great voice.
A really great voice.
Really, some people, President Obama also has a good storyteller voice. I feel like Gene Shepherd's voice is just perfection for storytelling.
Yes, absolutely. And it made him very popular. And so his stories were first improvised on that radio program in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s.
They were improvised?
Yes.
Meaning he made them up on the spot?
I think he had, from what I've read,
outline.
Right. He knew what he was going to talk about, then he just told them live.
That's impressive.
That's so impressive.
Ben could do that.
It's funny because I looked at literal pictures of Gene Shepherd, while I was doing this research, and I still think of Ben when I think of him. Ben is the guy who played the narrator in our production.
We'll talk more about him on the next one. Part 2. But
this next one I think you would find really interesting.
Okay.
He was friends with children's book author, and did you know he was a Playboy cartoonist, Shel Silverstein?
Oh, I did.
I didn't know that.
I did know that, yeah.
But he was friends with Gene Shepherd.
Okay.
And so Shel and then Shepherd's second wife, Lois Nettleton, encouraged him to start writing stories down, and that's what ended up being that book.
Oh.
So it was kind of like the stories he was just off the cuff, or, a little bit of planning, telling on the air. They were like, you actually need to write these down and publish these. So that's what happened with that.
Oh, I love that.
And the book became a bestseller. And it was so popular, he performed a town hall in New York City at Carnegie Hall in a sold-out performance.
Wow.
Yes. So then the screenplay itself, which we'll get to how that all even happened.
Okay.
It was written by Shepherd along with the movie's director, Bob Clark. By now, Shepherd was married a third time.
Well, hey, okay.
So this was his third wife, Lee Brown.
He's busy.
He ended up with 4 wives when I looked at it in the end. But fine, whatever, Shepherd.
Okay.
And what I learned about him, and I think this is the case with a lot of creative and comic people especially, is he really dealt with a lot of inner demons, mostly self-doubt. And we'll get into that even after the movie was doing well. They said in later years before he retired from radio, his stories were getting just kind of like it was just him self-depreciating himself, and they didn't have the same spunk they used to. Man. So it's kind of got in his head, was his own worst enemy, which might explain the number of marriages and that sort of thing.
And don't we know how that is?
Yeah, we do. Ooh. We do. So kind of got in his own way, which, relatable. All right, so the backstory on the actual movie being made then, Bob Clark, the movie's director and co-writer, he was in Miami driving to pick up a date, and he heard Shepherd on the radio telling the story of Flick.
Yes, Flick!
Yes, Flick, a boy who was triple dog dared into putting his tongue on a metal pole in the dead of winter, instantly freezing it to the pole. And Clark had never heard a story told quite like that, and he was so enthralled, he was 45 minutes to his date. Woo! Because he just kept driving around to listen to the rest of it.
Oh, I used to do that in the days of when I would listen to NPR before you could stream it.
Yeah.
And I would want to finish.
Yeah.
Before podcasts and before.
You can't just hit pause.
Right.
Yeah. And so when he heard it, he resolved, I'm going to do a movie of this man's work.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like, this guy's awesome. That story was great. I'm going to do this movie. And it was another 12 years before it was released.
Commitment.
Dreams take a long time,
They do, for real.
So, as you mentioned, the movie was not an instant success. It was okay at the box office. It wasn't a complete flop. They did make their money back.
It was probably just how they come out with Christmas movies every year, and they do fine.
Right.
What's that one that's out right now with The Rock in it?
Oh, Red
One or something. I don't know.
Red One.
It
Red
so
Christmas,
dumb.
Yeah, Red something.
It was in the theaters for 2 weeks, and now it is on a Prime. So that just shows you how well it did.
And it probably made its money back.
Right. So that's probably what happened.
Something like that. And then it was it went to a video, and then it sort of just kind of went to the wayside. Some people had it, your family apparently had it. And then it was the late 90s, really, that it started to gain this cult status, thanks in part to repeated airings on TNT those didn't start till 97.
Really?
Yeah.
I swear to God, maybe because we had the VCR tape, and there I go. Done.
I love it. Just keep saying it.
I just thought it was on.
Can't change.
But anyway.
Yeah. And now it's continued to be a staple of holiday programming with a 24-hour marathon airing on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but now it's on TBS, which both of those are Turner Broadcasting stations.
Yeah.
They basically bought the rights to it, to a bunch of things around the mid-90s, stuff like that, and then just kept playing it. And of course you can stream it now, and then that's that fragmentation we're always talking about.
Except
It costs money.
It costs money until December. Because we were trying to find it. We just wanted to watch it. Like, maybe it was No, it was before Thanksgiving. We just wanted to watch like the OG movie because we have it on DVD, but we don't have anything to watch DVDs on anymore. We don't have like a DVD player, right? So I was like, well, surely we can stream it. And Cooper was like, everywhere it costs money. And I was like, what? And we have all the things. We've got HBO. We have Netflix. We have, whatever.
Yeah, same.
It wasn't on any of them.
Oh, dang.
We steal my stepdad's Paramount. Anyway, It's not anyone. You had to pay for it. So I did because I was like, well, whatever. Wouldn't you know, as soon as Black Friday rolled around, day after Thanksgiving, which is the start of Christmas season, retail-wise, it became available to stream.
Probably because
like on HBO and HBO
around it or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's okay. Well, just now we know. If you want to watch it outside the Christmas season,
you gotta wait.
You gotta wait or buy it, or find your DVD player or VCR tape player, one or the other. So I thought this was a really interesting quote from Roger Ebert, the famous movie critic, when it first came out, when he reviewed the film. He said, "My guess is either nobody will go to see it, or millions of people will go to see it." Like, hello?
There's no
it might
gray.
Rain, it might rain, but it might not rain. Like, I don't know.
Well, I see what he's saying. He's like, it's either going to be a complete flop or a huge success. Like, and not like what we just said, where you're just kind of mid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which almost,
he was kind of sort of right.
He was.
Ways, I guess, because not tons of people saw it, but then in the end, now millions have. So this was really interesting, and it made sense to me kind of growing up in this period too, right, where this became famous late, more cult classic. But it is hard to imagine now, like a season where this isn't playing somewhere or references to it, Christmas story stuff everywhere. But even in the early 80s, the Christmas season was really ruled by older films. And old stories.
And cartoons.
And classics.
Yeah.
So Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, the 1951 version was really, really popular. 1942's musical Holiday Inn. And 54's White Christmas.
I can't stand those. I know you do. The only song I like in that one is Sisters.
I do love Sisters.
That's it. Tell your girls to sing that.
I don't even get me started. Every time it's on, I'm like, two of y'all need to do this.
Hello, there's four of you. If my sister could sing, I would make her do it with me. She
just do what Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye did. They just lip sync.
Oh, facts.
When they were in there. Blue with feathers.
So you could lip sync. So you could sing and Tara could mouth it.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Oh my God.
My voice coming out of Tara.
Hilarious.
That'd be great. We might have to do that next year. She's here for Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then also, of course, the 1946 Frank Capra drama, It's a Wonderful Life.
Guys, I have so many emotions around that movie, and we're not going there today. But
not today.
Good ones and bad ones.
Good ones and bad ones, yeah. And then Miracle on 40th. Oh my God, I said that backwards.
43rd Street.
I'm like 42nd Street. Let's go. Miracle on 34th Street also. So those were kind of like, and like you said, like the cartoons, like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Santa Claus is coming to town,
the Peanuts stuff, like all of that was really all there was. So when A Christmas Story came along, it was sort of, it's not any of those things.
No, it's funny, and it's funny and heartwarming at the same time. The other ones are more serious.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about Christmas, but it's more about like the family dynamic. There wasn't a lot of that otherwise. So let's talk about the cast, but I also included a little bit more on Gene Shepard and the director when I was looking this up. Okay, so we'll start with the movie's director, Bob Clark.
Okay.
So this is funny. He was actually most known for like raunchy films.
Shut up.
And slasher films.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting fact.
He directed 1982's Porky's.
Oh, snap. Have you seen Porky's?
I've seen parts of it.
All right. That is one we are watching for nostalgic or problematic because that whole fucking thing is a problem.
Okay. Well, that was Bob Clark.
Get out of here.
Yep. And he helped write that one. And then Black Christmas, which is an iconic slasher that was from the 70s.
Oh.
And then he did a bunch of other slashers before and after that.
That's so crazy.
That
so
weird?
he just kind of went on a limb.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that was driving around and heard the story. So yeah, I guess he just liked the story.
Hey.
I mean, and I think there's raunchy parts of A Christmas Story. More so, I mean, the lamp, for God's sake. You don't think so?
Raunchy.
I mean,
you haven't seen Porky's, Katie. Listen, if you think Christmas Story is raunchy, I cannot
cover my eyes.
Cannot wait. Everybody out there who's seen Porky's is dying laughing right now. They're like, I mean, the lamp is like, which, by the way, did I tell you my parents sent us a lamp and it is huge?
Really?
It is like, so it's like the size of a grown ass person's leg. It's huge and it's heavy. And I was like, where am I putting this?
Where'd you put it? Where is it? Tell me it's in the front window.
We don't have a front window.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
And like, that's the thing. Like, my house, guys, I don't have where to put this fucking thing. It's hilarious. But like, maybe ask somebody hello before you send them a giant ass leg lamp. And I'm sure it was expensive.
Well, it was a major award, Danny. I'll tell you how expensive they are. It's later in my notes.
Well, listen.
I looked them up.
The one we had in the show is smaller than the one they sent. You will not believe this.
What?
I'm going to send you a picture of me standing next to it. You're going to be like, what the hell? So what we did was we put it upstairs. We have like this open loft that is like a combination room. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Troy's, if y'all listen to the show for a long time, you've heard my husband talk about his game room / workout area / office.
Yes. / all the things.
So we have a Christmas tree up there next to our weight rack. I moved the weight rack over and put a table for this fucking lamp.
My gosh.
It looks awful. It's so bad. I may just donate it to the Henniger. I don't know.
I mean, if it's bigger than the one they used in the show, they'd probably use it again, like whenever they do it in the future. Say,
you may have this if you cast me again.
It's a conditional gift.
Just kidding.
In a decade, when you do the show again.
I'm just kidding.
I love it, but I think you need for our socials. You'll need a picture.
Oh, I'm gonna
holding it or standing by it, or something.
I gotta stand by it because y'all gotta see.
That's true. We need to know by scale. We need to know how big this thing is. So
they do
cost between like $250 and $350.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, depending the size. And that was the difference in the price was the size.
Well,
like the different sizes.
I'm gonna measure it.
Measure it. Do it.
You're gonna die. I'm sorry. That was a diversion.
That's okay.
But also...
No, but now we know we need to see your lamp. Okay, so Porky's that guy. Anyway, Bob Clark. So he did die in 2007 in a car accident, which really stinks. But he had said in an interview that he was in a restaurant in New Hampshire once, and he overheard a family at a nearby table speaking what sounded like dialogue from A Christmas Story. And it turned out it was. The maitre d' explained that it was a ritual every Christmas Eve for this family to come to the restaurant, sit around a table, and recite dialogue from every scene.
It was me and my sister.
It was. Were you in New Hampshire
No.
on Christmas Eve? And so this is the quote from Bob Clark. That's when it began to sink in. This low-budget fluke of a movie had become a quintessential Christmas tradition.
I love it.
Isn't that amazing? I love it. Okay. So let me now go then, of course, to Ralphie.
Yeah, he's on my shirt.
He's on your shirt. I want to just like preface by saying we'll talk about he was already kind of a child actor at this time. Totally seemingly normal guy who was a child actor and is a normal adult now and has made it through life relatively unscathed, married, has 2 kids, still acting, still doing behind the scenes stuff, seems to have navigated life well, which from this era we don't see for all of them.
And hey, if y'all want, he's in a Wayfair commercial this year with Kelly Clarkson with the leg lamp.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I love her too.
Also, he's May in Elf.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So he's made a lot of cameos in lots of movies, but particularly Christmas ones. Okay, so he was 12 at the time, right? So Ralphie's supposed to be 9, but he was 12.
That's fun. That's how old Cooper was.
Yeah.
He's still
9 and a half. Or is,
I love that. So he was a little wee one as well.
He was a little guy, or he was. So Bob Clark actually auditioned 8,000 kids.
Snap.
But listen to this. Billingsley was the first person he auditioned. So imagine auditioning one.
I know.
I think it's this one. And obviously,
but I want to
Bob Clark didn't personally look at 8,000 kids. I'm sure he had a casting team. But still, and then to just be like, no, let's just go with the first guy.
Well, because you probably think, I mean, I don't know. You cast things. I don't. I am on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure, tell me if I'm wrong here, when you're casting, if you see somebody who's perfect early on, you probably just want to make sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't just cast the first person that came through the door.
Right.
Would you look at 8,000 other people? Probably
That's a
not.
lot.
But who knows? I mean, I'm sure it could be like just like talent agencies were sending over 100 at a time, and that counted. But so Billingsley was already a very successful child actor in commercials, especially in New
adorable.
York. He's so cute.
So cute.
In the 1970s especially. So he appeared as Messy Marvin for Hershey's.
Yeah, I remember seeing that commercial.
And he sold hot dogs with New York Yankees manager Billy Martin, like a different commercial. He promoted video games with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What?
So he was like known, right?
Okay.
And so that was part of the reason Bob Clark shied away from him, because he thought he was perfect, but he was like, it's kind of obvious. Like, this kid's a good actor. And you know, if you're trying to come up, I don't know that he was like trying for iconic status, but if you're like, this could be iconic, but this kid's in like 700 other commercials, like, how I want him to be like known for this.
For Ralphie.
Right. So that was kind of probably part of what held him back. But in a Vanity Fair interview with Gail Billingsley, which is Peter's mother, she said they auditioned actors in California and a couple other countries. And then they came back to their first choice. And then, wow, yeah. It's like,
Matters a British Ralphie.
No. It'd be cute. But
hey,
no.
fudge.
Oh, fudge. Mine wasn't even British.
I don't know.
Mine was just a weird. So, quick little aside. All four of my daughters and I are just sometimes weird to each other, and we don't even explain it. So, part of, we'll like sing stuff or whatever. So, I didn't know, but my son was like just around the corner today, like brushing his teeth or brushing his hair. And my daughter Amelia came to the kitchen. She's like, "Hello, mother. It is time for a bagel." And I was like, "Oh, yes, you should get the fancy cream." She's from the bathroom. He's like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, what? We don't know. Like, and we were like, we just do that sometimes. He's like, okay. Like, he wasn't mad, but he was just like, are you guys okay?
Very nice in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, he said, "What the hell?" from the bathroom.
People in my house don't even talk in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. Or they'll be like, I'll be like, "Hurry up, let's go." Like, it's not good vibes in the morning.
Like, it depends on the morning. This morning was okay, except then I was trying to get ready, and that, again, threw a mess into everything. But that's another story. Okay. So they auditioned all these other actors. And then later, Bob Clark said to Gail, Peter's mom, he walked in and he had us from the beginning.
Aww.
And he was just 12, but his expressive, and if you've seen the movie, his expressive face and relatable performance makes him an enduring character. And as I mentioned, he's been on a lot of different projects in front of the camera and behind it. Projects like Iron Man and The Breakup, where he was a producer.
Oh, with Vince Vaughn and
so I have a little bit more on Vince Vaughn later. I'm going to save it for my fun facts. But there's a Peter Billingsley Vince Vaughn connection.
Did they date?
No.
Oh,
it's not that fun.
Okay,
that would be really fun.
Sorry, Vince Vaughn's not gay, and I don't know Peter Billingsley's
He's
life.
married to a woman, but I don't know
either.
Okay, here we go. Darren McGavin played the old man.
Ah, yes.
Ralphie's gruff but lovable father. And he was also already pretty recognizable, but mostly for TV roles, and then he had some other supporting roles in films. So he has kind of an interesting backstory. When I looked him up, he was abandoned by his parents when he was a teen. I don't know, like,
so that probably was like an emotional, like,
and like had to kind of be on his own and make it. So he already had this like rough backstory that made him maybe more believable as the dad, trying to provide a good life for his family. So get this, Jack Nicholson was actually considered for the role. Right?
What?
Yes.
Get out of here with that nonsense.
Isn't that crazy?
Jack Nicholson.
Now?
What in the world?
And he was, like already pretty famous at that time.
I mean, he's funny, but not like that. Like, he's not.
I mean, they probably just figured he could be like gruff and whatever. But
no.
they didn't cast him. And so later, Bob Clark, the director, did say, thank God they didn't cast Jack.
Yeah.
Because Darren McGavin is the old man. He
is, for real.
Yeah. And so another little thing I found, just because I thought this was fun, because I care about these sorts of things. Apparently McGavin, the old man, was really good with the kids on set.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, he like enjoyed being around the kids and like gave them advice and was just like kind of jovial around them.
I love that.
And Billingsley, who was a child actor, said that was not the case normally back at that time. He said he always felt condescended to, and that a lot of people didn't like child actors.
Which, fair.
You're like, well,
fair.
But McGavin wasn't one of them.
Well, good for him.
He enjoyed performing with young performers, and he died in 2006, and he was 83.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom. I didn't pee before we started.
Pausing.
I know. Pausing. Sorry.
No. Or are we stopping?
I was like, I did not pee when I got here.
I don't know how. And, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it on. Going. I'm gonna leave it on, and then I'll cut it out. Remember how I showed you how I can delete?
Improv.
Because if I turn it off, I'm afraid I'll lose the whole thing.
Oh, got it.
And I don't know.
I won't be long. 2 minutes. Go.
All right.
Ow. Okay.
It's okay. I was checking in on a few weird things anyway.
Why? I thought I could start recording without being beyond.
It's okay.
All right, I'm good now.
Okay. Yes, now I'll just cut all that out. Let me put the word cut here, because that'll show up in the transcript. And then I'll know where I am. Hooray.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, come back. Oh, no. All the things have turned off. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to say cut here again. Cut here. Okay, here we go. Good?
Yep.
Okay, and then, of course, we have to talk about Ralphie's mother.
Yes.
Ooh. So she was played by Melinda Dillon, and she was actually really well known at this time. She was cast for Christmas Story on the basis of her role as the mom in Steven Spielberg's blockbuster Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I forgot that she was in that.
Yes. And so she had begun her career as a coat check girl at Second City, which is the improv theater in Chicago.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then, she went from tale as old as time,
of course,
coat check girl to performer. And then at 23, she played the mousy wife Honey in the original Broadway production of Edward Albee's drama, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Okay.
Have you ever seen that show?
I have not.
It's really good. It's a really good drama.
I've not seen it.
She actually got nominated for a Tony for it.
Hey, girl.
When she was 23. She was also nominated twice for Academy Awards.
Okay.
Once was the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then again in a movie called Absence of Malice, and she played opposite Paul Newman. So she's awesome. And then she went on to continue to have a long film career after that. Died in 2023 at the age of 83.
They both died at 83.
83. But then I was like doing the math. I was like, he was way. I mean, you can tell when you watch it.
I remember she was 44, which is how old I am when she filmed the movie, but he was in his 60s.
Yeah. I mean, he looks it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well,
so anyway.
But we're supposed to be like, oh, it was back a long time ago. That's maybe what people look like. I don't know.
But also, like, they're super old and they had young kids, and that wasn't very common back then.
Yeah.
I always thought that was weird because like my parents were a little bit older. Like my mom had me at 32, which in 1980 people didn't have kids later often. Like
Not
now,
often,
now people have kids in their 40s and 50s and, you know, but back then it was not common. And in the 40s, shoot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Okay, so then we have Ian Petrella, who played Randy, Ralphie's little brother.
Let's go.
There's not a whole lot on him. He seems to have also had a great life since then. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes, and he is a puppeteer.
Oh,
but I couldn't find for what. So like I was like, was he like on like a Jim Henson show? Was he? I couldn't find anything obvious. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. And at this recording, he's 50. He's only 50.
He's 50.
He's 50. All right. Yeah. And I can't wait till we are so we can do that. Okay.
I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to wake up and go, I'm 50 and I like to kick and punch. All right.
Yes, you're going to do it every day. Okay, so Gene Shepherd, who we've talked about a little bit already, he died in 1999 at the age of 78. And it was like just 2 years after those marathons really started. Aww. So he really didn't get to see the real success of the film over time. Aww. And really the cultural staple it became. Of course, it wasn't a flop. It wasn't that he wasn't successful, but he didn't see what it kind of has since then spiraled into.
Yeah.
Which, you know, makes you think about what I love to talk about all the time, legacy, and just like, you just don't know those seeds you're planting. I mean, yes, you could look at it and go, oh, it's a movie, like, whatever. But, like, think of all the families that watch it together.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll talk about this on the next episode, too, but, like, that come together as a family to come see it live.
Facts.
And, you know, like, all the people it's touched and all the different stories people have. So, good on you, Gene Shepherd.
I know.
Okay, so here come the fun facts. So, the iconic leg lamp was custom made for the movie. I don't know why I put a question mark in my note.
For the mark?
Movie.
Actually, it was.
No, it should be exclamation point or a period or a nothing. So there were 3 created. None of them survived production.
Well, right, because the mom broke them.
Yeah. So, but don't worry.
Allegedly.
It's
never confirmed.
It could have just fallen on its own.
When she was watering plants.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
Which is why do you know why I don't, you probably didn't notice this on stage, but that's why I would always mess with the flowers, because in the movie she's watering plants
when it breaks. Ah, smart. I love that.
I know. Look at me.
Look at you. I love it. Little
character study.
And then I just put the price for what I'd already mentioned, $250 to $350. If you actually want like a decent size one that you can turn on and plug in. And
you want a gigantor that's in my window.
Yes.
Full size lady leg.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, of course, there's like ornaments. I have earrings someone gave me. Like, you can get the leg lamp on any sort of
nightlight as well.
A nightlight. That's cute.
Kohl's has
I like that a lot. So you don't have to spend all that on the lamp if you want something just that has to do with the lamp. Okay. So here's an interesting one. The infamous tongue on the flagpole scene was a movie magic trick. Not really magic. It was just a movie trick. How about that? So this is interesting. The kid who played Flick was named Scott Schwartz.
Yeah, I knew that.
Another character named Schwartz. His tongue never actually touched the pole. There was a hidden vacuum tube inside that just kind of like pulled him.
So it's like the old bank cylinder things.
Exactly.
Remember in Elf when Buddy sticks his face in it
like
in the mailroom? So it's like that. That's hilarious.
But I would be so nervous about my tongue. But
like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
just like that.
Exactly. Is that what you would say if they're like, we're doing it? You'd be like, hold on. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. I don't know. Katie has a whole list of facts. I don't know if you came up with this. Is it true that he was in adult films?
Flick.
I
didn't see that. We're gonna have to look that up.
I'm gonna look that up.
Look it up right now.
These are the facts I want to know.
It'd be like from my studio's IP address. Scott Schwartz, adult
I'm fairly. I know one of the kids, in this movie did make a career in adult films, but I don't know who it was.
Could be him. Could be.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, so then we sort of touched on this. The house used for the exterior was in Cleveland, Ohio. And it has since been turned into a Christmas Story museum.
Yeah, I have friends who've been there, and I just thought it was in Indiana.
Yeah, no, it is in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's so fun. You
And
can spend the night though?
You can spend the night. I know, that'd be cool, right?
Road trip. Guys.
We might need to.
Oh my
I feel like if you go off season, it can't be that expensive. But if you're trying to go during the Christmas season, it's probably really expensive.
Scotty's X-rated adventure.
So it is Scott Schwartz.
Hold on. Sorry, guys.
What? Tell me.
What is going to happen? You guys, my algorithm has the weirdest crap that pops up because of our podcast research. Yeah, Scott Schwartz. Hold on. 1996. I want to make sure it's the right Scott Schwartz because I'm sure there's other. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, in case anybody wants to know, it's called Scotty's X-rated adventure. I'm not going to read you the plot summary because it's an adult film. But anyway, that's what Flick did.
I missed that in my research.
That was before, I guess apparently that was before 24 Hours of Christmas Story, so he wasn't getting enough royalties yet. So maybe after that started, he could nix that.
Yeah, so maybe that, or he just made so much money off that adult film that he's just all good to go.
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know how lucrative that was for him.
Yes.
Maybe we need a part 3.
Maybe we do. We need to revisit.
All right. So back to G-rated.
So back to Cleveland, Ohio. Very G-rated. Most of the cast stayed at a hotel called Stouffer's during their 3-month shoot. And the city of Cleveland kept its Christmas decorations up for the whole duration to help out the small budget movie.
I love that.
Isn't that sweet? So Gene Shepherd does make a cameo appearance in the movie. He's the stern older man who scolds Ralphie for breaking into the long line to see Santa at Higbee's.
Okay, that's fun.
That's him.
I didn't know that.
Very, very cool. Oh, you're going to love... I put this one on here for you.
No.
The Bumpus Hounds, who, spoiler alert, break in and eat the family's turkey and are always barking. They weren't trained animals.
What?
They were untrained shelter dogs, making their chaotic behavior all the more real.
Is that legal?
I mean,
probably not now.
Maybe back then.
So they just ran to the shelter and they're like, come on, give me 5 dogs.
I guess. Hopefully someone kept them after that, or at least kept them through Christmas.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be in the shelter on Christmas.
I know, but it's still sad after.
Well, no, I don't mean it's not.
Dogs don't know it's Christmas.
That's true.
It's like, at least they're not alone on Christmas because they would be so sad.
I mean, I'm sad at the idea.
I know. I mean, honestly, I don't like dogs, but that would be sad to just borrow them and then bring them back. Because, our cat, that's what happened to him. He was born in the shelter. He was adopted, and then somebody brought him back a few months later. That's
Luigi?
Yeah.
No.
That's his origin story.
He's so,
that's why he has anxiety. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, that's why. Because I think his formative 8 months of his life, he didn't know what the hell was happening.
Or where
he was born and then adopted and then brought back. Him and his sister. One of our biggest regrets as pet owners is one of his siblings was there with him, just one, and we didn't adopt her too because Cooper was a toddler at the time, and we were moving all the time, and we wish we would have.
I wish you would have too.
I know, but we couldn't.
Hopefully, someone else came in and just was she orange too?
No, I don't remember because orange tabbies they're not born in litters. They're just kind of
one in the litter or something like that.
But anyway.
Interesting.
Random thought, but that does make me sad. Even though I don't like dogs, I don't want them to be alone on Christmas.
Or anytime.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have I guess I put the poll thing on here twice because I had more on it. So I'm just going to skip it.
Okay.
But it did say, this is a funny line. It was quite a hit with the boys. They all took turns sticking their tongue on the air hole.
Girl. Okay. All right.
Okay, we're just gonna keep going.
I mean, the funny part about that is it was quite a hit with the boys, and then that one kid ended up in an adult film.
I know,
y'all.
It all kind of
you can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up. and Schwartz did say, Scott Schwartz, who played Flick, said that they did scatter for lunch once and just left him there, when they leave him helpless as the morning bell rings at Warren G. Harding's school.
They probably did that to be funny
they
too.
Probably did. I'm sure they came back and saved him. Okay, so listen to this. This is great. Billingsley, Peter Billingsley, Ralphie, still has the rhinestone cowboy suit and the pink bunny suit in his possession stored in a vault.
I love that so much.
Isn't that great?
I mean, that is some, like, I'm so glad he kept it because, you know, when you're in a moment, you don't know it's going to be iconic.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. It could have just either been trashed or like put in like
taken back
a studio wardrobe somewhere and just hidden forever. I think that's really cool.
I love that.
So Jon Favreau, director, producer, also good friends with Vince Vaughn, says that A Christmas Story was one of the main inspirations for his movie Elf.
Love that.
And Billingsley, as you mentioned, has a small role in that.
He's May the head elf.
May the head elf.
He's the one that tells Buddy that he's not making enough toys.
Yeah, you're right.
I know my Christmas movies, guys. I know.
Yeah, that's the one.
And I loved blowing people's mind and telling them that was Ralphie. Because I don't know why I know that. Because, again, random shit I know. And Cooper must have forgotten that I had told him that 3 times in his life.
3 times
and he's like, did you know that Peter Billingsley is an elf? I'm like, yeah, he's May May. And he was like, you didn't know that? I'm like, I literally told you that when you were teeny tiny.
When you were 6 months old, Cooper. Come on. Don't you remember?
Anyway.
So Favreau said that he was like a big fan of Gene Shepherd.
Aww.
He knew Gene Shepherd's voice from the radio because his dad used to listen to his monologues.
Aww.
And he would hear it in the car. And a quote from him was, I think that the combination of the narration, the movie's classic look, and of course Billingsley wonderful open face and his performance really drew you into the movie and made you feel connected emotionally.
Agreed.
So I think that's pretty cool. I guess I didn't put it in here, but the Vince Vaughn direct connection is that they met on a movie sometime in the late 80s and became really good friends and are good friends to this day.
That's great.
Yeah. So they're just like buddies.
I love that.
I know. I love that too.
I love unexpected connections.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how to look up controversy surrounding the film.
I'm sure there's
plenty. So spoiler alert, there's not that much. It's stuff that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad happened with the children that we're aware of. There's no drama within the cast that we're aware of. Nothing like that. But the main controversy, the criticism that the film's received over the years, especially now, is the family dynamic.
Yeah.
Critics say that the movie glorifies bullying, insensitive behavior. Then some people don't like Ralphie's obsession with a dangerous BB gun, normalizing bullying, and then of course the dad's emotionally abusive, toxic behavior.
So I agree. So my mom hated that my sister and I loved this movie for all those reasons mentioned.
Yeah.
Especially the gun part. I grew up in a non-gun owning house, which always surprises people because I grew up in South Louisiana. But both my parents were very against firearms. In fact, my dad was even a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War, which is funny because my mom was a military brat. And then I married somebody in the military, so that's weird. But anyway, so she hated the gun, like a whole gun. And plus my mom's an ER nurse. Yeah. So the dangerous. Even though
it's a BB gun, she's probably seen actual.
You can shoot your eye out, guys. You literally can shoot your eye out with a BB gun.
Hurt people and hurt animals.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And for children to have that is even worse.
But on the flip side, a product of the time. I mean, it was the 40s. It was common. I mean, that doesn't make it okay. We talk about this all the time on this podcast. It doesn't excuse it, but it is reality. And, I always thought that dad was such an ass. He doesn't really have Troy and I talked about this a lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of redemption.
Not really. It's he bought him the gun. Wow.
Right.
Big deal.
And he bought them the gun without talking to his wife about it, who was so against it in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's problematic. And again, when you're watching it, whether it's the musical or the film, yes, you can say to yourself, well, that's how it was then. But it still is kind of perpetuating this sort of patriarchal structure. And we can get into this when we talk about the musical too, but where mom's constantly cleaning up after everyone. She's in a house full of male presenting individuals, and she's always the one cooking and cleaning up and picking up the wrapping paper. And again, you can say, but that maybe is his story because that's how it was. but you're still watching it in the current day.
Right. And it's cringy.
Yeah.
It can be cringy. And you really, and we'll talk about this again, you have to remove yourself from the cringe and just say, this is a period piece, and here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that more when we get into the acting components. But those are the main criticisms, right? And I think those are valid. I think those are warranted.
And I think I get it. For people who don't like the movie for all those reasons, like I used to like roll my eyes at my mom for not liking the movie, but now I understand. I still love the movie. It's like, even though they have all this and I am very against, we're an anti-gun household, which is hilarious because my husband was in the military and did like gun training and all the things. But personally, we do not own guns and we won't. Partly, I don't like them because when I was in 4th grade, a classmate of mine, him and his brother got into their parents and he died.
What?
Yeah.
Man.
So like, yeah, they got in, they wasn't locked up and the brother accidentally shot him and he died.
Oof.
So, anyway, the point of that is, even though I am anti-gun and anti-patriarchy, I still love the movie.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I love it is because Peter Billingsley is perfect.
Yep.
He is like perfect, and Randy, perfect. The kids in the movie make it for me.
They do.
And even the bully, like, I don't think it glorifies bullying because, I mean, the kid eventually gets his ass kicked. Which is not okay.
Neither thing is okay, but I know what you mean.
Karma comes back.
Correct. Which is the whole point. The whole point
of it is that you put shittiness out there, shittiness is going to come back to you.
Correct.
So
it's not saying it's cool to be a bully. It's saying it's not
right. It was never like he wasn't some cool, and he even looked odd, like the kid they cast, you know,
like on purpose. Yeah, he wasn't meant to be like a James Dean looking character that you're like, oh, he's so cool. Correct. You're like, ooh, I don't like that person, which is how you're supposed to feel.
Right.
I'm sure that the actor himself is very lovely, but for the point of the character. One other criticism I saw that I didn't even put down because I was like, I don't know about that, is that it glorifies commercialism because he's so obsessed with this gift. And I'm kind of like,
it's America, capitalism.
And I'm like, every kid wants something for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, or just kids their birthday, they go into the store and want something, you know.
We live in a capitalistic society, guys.
Yeah, and I was just like, and I think that specific criticism was stemming from like, oh, but you should focus on like whether it's religious or just family or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but like he's supposed to be a 9-year-old kid.
He's 9, yeah.
Come on. You know, yeah. So that is it. That is all I have.
Oh, wow. That was a lot.
I told you it was a lot, but like could have been, you know, you can go down as many rabbit holes as you want.
For
Apparently,
real.
Adult films, I totally miss. My algorithms be letting me down, guys.
Well, now, to be fair, I knew that from something else. I don't know why I know that. I have not seen.
Maybe it was a preview on a different VCR tape that you have. It's like coming soon.
I have not seen that adult film. I just remember like watching, you know, those like behind the music things or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I swear there was one on like Christmas Story years back on MTV. That was like random crap, and that was one of the things.
Okay. Yeah, that adds up.
Or maybe the guys in an interview. I don't know. You know how they would like do those kind of like commentaries.
And then you're going to remember it because it's like a memorable thing.
Remember that show, Dinner and a Movie they would do on TBS or TNT?
I loved that show.
Right?
Yes. I wanted to like be a host on that show. I know. So bad.
I'm wondering if it was on something like that. Like probably. A late night.
I bet it was. Yeah. Like, they're like, by the way, here's some facts. And then even, the Dinner and the Movie, they had like the host, but then while you were watching it, things would pop up. Like little facts. Yeah.
Okay, question. So you didn't watch this as a kid. You didn't watch it till you were like in your 20s, you said, right?
Yeah.
But what about your kids?
I don't think they've seen it.
Even though you were just in the show?
I didn't really watch it. I don't know. Like, I was excited to be in the show.
Girl, they came to see the show and they hadn't seen the movie?
Yeah.
What?
And they loved the show.
Wacky.
Yeah. Yeah, they loved it. They were like, oh, it's so great.
But I mean, like, it's still funny.
My husband's never seen it. The musical was his first one. Same kind of thing. He said it was just always because he worked in radio for years and it was just always on like somewhere. So he was just like, oh my God, not this movie again. So he never watched it.
This Christmas season.
Yes.
You have less than a week to go.
Less than a week.
Y'all need to watch it.
Yes. Okay.
She looks reluctant in my eyes right now.
I will watch it with them.
Yeah.
I will watch it with them.
At least half you guys.
My husband,
you can't force
my husband might be like,
that's
no,
fine.
truly, I'm not watching it. But everyone else probably, Tegan will watch anything with me.
Okay.
And if I have snacks, my other kids would too.
I'm going to say at least 3 of the 7 of you guys.
Okay. So me and 2 more.
Yeah.
Do I count though? Because I've already seen it. Does it have to be 3?
No, because I want you to watch it with them. Because it's different when you watch it with your kids.
Very true. Very true.
So that's your goal. We'll talk about it in the new year.
Well, and Tegan, my littlest, hasn't seen Home Alone.
What are you doing?
But that's kind of on purpose because she gets scared of stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But I think this year she's ready. Like, part of me for years has wanted her to see it because she is Kevin. Like, if she was left behind, she would figure life out.
Well, she's not as mischievous as Kevin.
No, but she's like, she would just be like running the house and like buying groceries and like figuring life out. But the other part, like where like burglars are coming into your house, I was just like, oof, like she's prone to like nightmares and stuff.
Oh.
So I was like, I don't know, it might be too much. But she just turned 10 in November. Yeah. So I think maybe we'll just do like a string of movies, like this movie this night, or do a marathon day or something day after Christmas or something. Yeah. That might be fun.
You could always have a palate cleanser in between and do Muppet Christmas Carol because that's always a good choice.
I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
I've already watched it twice this season, guys.
I love it so much.
It is.
And my whole family has seen that one numerous times.
That's another one that me and my sister just... I saw that one in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That one's so good.
The OG one with the Bell song.
With the Bell song.
So sad. The love is gone.
I know. I can't believe it's not in there anymore. Well, that's another
story.
No,
it is on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus, good. Okay,
yep.
That's where we'll watch
it.
Because I love that song. All right. So, everyone, make sure you tune in for part 2. Where we talk about A Christmas Story, the musical. Even if you've never seen it, if you're a Christmas Story fan and that's how you found this one, listen to the musical one too, because we might tell you some things you didn't know. And look through our other 80 plus episodes and find some more. You like Dawson's Creek? We got that.
Oh, you know what? I was going to say in 2025, we need to start season 2.
I think so.
I think we need to. I kind of miss it.
I miss it too.
You know why I miss it? Because I've been watching Dr. Odyssey.
Oh, girl. I haven't started it yet.
Oh, Katie.
I'm scared because I know...
You don't even have to pay
Jackson
attention to anything else.
Pull me in.
I know.
And then I'm going to be stuck watching Dr. Odyssey for a weekend.
But you're off work for a few days next week. So
I am. But now I have to watch Christmas Story.
Oh, well, that's an hour and a half. You're fine.
Okay. Dr. Odyssey it is.
All right.
Well, then maybe we can review that alongside Dawson's Creek? Or
no, because it's totally... There's nothing to it. The storyline is kind of shit.
Eye candy.
It's just... Yes.
Men, women. They're on a boat. Yes. Scenic.
Yes.
It's just like good to watch.
And Don Johnson, still fabulous.
I know.
I'm not attractive, but he's still fabulous. Still a good actor.
Okay, we'll take it.
Anyway.
All right. So listen to our other episodes. Yes. Find us on Patreon and become a patron for $8 a month. Or review us wherever you're listening right now. Give us a 5-star review. That helps other people find us. Or share us on social media. And until next time, don't shoot your eye out.
Don't shoot your eye out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.